The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning for this January the 31st, 2023. Today's show is brought to you by Barn Burner Hockey and barnburnerhockey.ca. Use promo code 1420BARN at Barn Burner Hockey today and save yourself 10% on all of their all-natural hockey products and apparel today at our new friends at Barn Burner Hockey. Got some great things planned for the very near future with those boys out there in Halifax. Anyways, yesterday the Vancouver Canucks made a trade late afternoon where they traded team captain who's been around with the team since 2014, I believe, so quite the tenure there. But anyways, Bo Horvat's on his way out of Vancouver, going to another team that's not really in the playoffs right now, the New York Islanders. The Islanders kind of have a disappointing season. You thought they'd have a bit of a better year than they've been having, but maybe this trade will help them out. Anyways, going to Vancouver, Anthony Beauvillier, Aatu Räty, and a protected first-round pick going back to Vancouver. So the dreaded R word is back on in Vancouver. They never like to admit it. Their owner, Aquilini, never likes to say the rebuild word, but it's happening. It's right in front of our very eyes. I don't know how you're going to do that with the amount of money you're going to you pay Miller, Hughes, and Pettersson, but that's what they're doing anyways. So anyways, Bo Horvat, who apparently hasn't talked contract with the Canucks for about 3 months. The contract demands or talks or whatever you want to say, they staled, and then so Bo Horvat did the basically what Aaron Judge did last year and bet on himself, and Horvat is having himself a hell of a year. 31 goals so far on an awful Canucks team that's 26-3, having a terrible year. And as we know, they made the coaching change to Rick Tocchet last week and the like. So a lot of upheaval and everything else in Vancouver, which isn't good for the fan base. You don't like seeing that. The players they got back, Beauvillier is average NHLer at best. He's a first rounder, I think 21st, 22nd overall, whatever that was. He hasn't really produced very much at all in National Hockey League level. I think he's got 11 goals this year, which isn't bad, but it isn't great for a first-round guy. Aatu Räty, it's an interesting little caveat there. He was projected to be a top 3 or 4 guy when his initial draft year in 2021 came around. All the things happened, COVID and the like and everything. He ended up going. Then when the draft day started, he was allegedly going to be in a 10 to 20 range in the first round. He dropped all the way to 59th overall, I think it was, in the second round. So there's something that went wrong there. He was projected to be he's a highly skilled player, and the like. He has 1 National Hockey League goal. He's spent most of this year in Bridgeport in the American Hockey League, but Aatu Räty was projected to be a high pick, so they got a guy who could be a project, who could be a guy that Rick Tocchet might be able to meld into a National Hockey League player. I don't think that's going to happen, because the way things happen usually in Vancouver with prospects and the like, and so I don't see that happening. There's a reason why a guy gets projected in the first go top 5 and then into this late in the second round, but we'll give the guy a chance. Anyways, Beauvillier hasn't really gotten into being the player that he was projected to be. He's an average NHLer at best, and that's I think that's being kind. So the Canucks are trying to spin it that they got better, not better, they got younger, quicker, with hope for the future, and that's just another word you don't want to hear is the F word. The future's always been now in Vancouver, but now they're finally basically admitting that they got some problems. Actually, GM, it's not even the GM. I don't know what Rutherford's. He's the president, I guess, out in Vancouver. But you wonder what the thought process is out in Vancouver by getting rid of your captain, having himself a hell of a year, well liked in the community, hell of a hockey player. Like I said, he's got 31 goals, and he stated yesterday on his post-mortem presser that when he was going to the island that he thought he was going to be a Canuck forever, and I think most people did, but I think the writing was on the wall when they didn't get the contract done, and when they signed JT Miller last year, or in the offseason, sorry, which was last year, that Bo was probably not in the plans because there was only X amount of dollars to go around in the salary cap world of the National Hockey League. It's reminiscent a lot of the Trevor Linden deal that happened in Vancouver to the same Islanders, actually. This trade actually that trade story brought in a guy by the name of Roberto Luongo from Long Island to the Canucks, and the rest is history. Luongo's one of the greatest goaltenders of all time. I don't think you're going to be saying that Beauvillier or Aatu Räty is going to be one of the greatest greatest of all time at their positions. It's sad to see a guy like Horvat go. I know my family or my sister's out in Vancouver Island there. She quite likes Bo, and she's Bo's a family favorite of Horvat. He's a great player. Is he a all-time player? No, but he's not. But he's a great player that's going to help out the Islanders a lot. And last week, Lou Lamoriello, the godfather of hockey, out there in his probably is the lights turned low on the whole bit and making this deal and getting it done. He said he had to go out and get some players, and it was on him that they don't have the team that they should have and they should be competing for. He didn't get the players. Well, yesterday he went out and did it, and he went out and got a player that's going to help them get into a playoff spot. I think they're 2 points behind Pittsburgh right now. Isn't enough in that tough Eastern Conference to put the Islanders back into a playoff race? I don't know, because it's tough. They got a goaltender who's looking to have a Vezina type of year, so that helps. So having a player of Horvat's ilk is a great thing for the Islanders. It's going to help them a ton. Is he going to continue? Is he going to sign there long term? They do have some money on the books, so they can probably spread around and find a way to get Horvat signed long term out on the island for the Islanders. But I don't see him. You wonder if that was part of the deal, like with a sign or a trade and sign situation they had, because getting rid of three. The Canucks are trying to spin it as they got 3 first rounders out of this deal because Atu Ratti, it was supposed to be a first rounder. So they're spinning it in the media that we basically got 3 first rounders. Well, Bolivier's shown what he is. He's not a great NHLer. I'd be surprised if he's in the league in 5 years. Ratti has been in the minors. Is he going to get a chance in Vancouver? I doubt it. Like you wonder if the patience of a guy like Rick Tocchet, who was last week already calling his team out, calling them soft and everything else. So getting a guy like Ratti, is he going to add to the Charmaine softness of that hockey club? Who knows? But you just wonder how that's going to all work out for the Canucks, and if Tocchet's having second thoughts of taking that deal, or if the Canucks are actually having second thoughts of having a guy like Tocchet behind the bench, because it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to have paying the 3 coaches the way they're paying them to basically now you're mailing it in for the rest of the season. They aren't a good hockey team. They're a worse hockey team today than they were this time yesterday with Bo Horvat and having your captain there. Now what do? Do they put the C on Hughes? They put the C on Pettersson? I don't know. They have their own special set of problems with Aquilini and right on through in that franchise. You wonder what the long-term goal is. You like to see what the whiteboard looks like in Canuck World headquarters. Because like I said, they're a worse team yesterday than they are now, and that's just the simple facts of it. And anybody who says anything differently is wrong. The Canucks are a broken organization. They're a broken situation. They've been that way for quite some time. Trading your captain yesterday, like I said, it's reminiscent of when Trevor Linden got ran out of town back in the Mike Keenan days and the Harry York days, actually, when Keenan was there, Messier came in and the like, and they traded him away to the Islanders, and the rest is history with Trevor Linden. But he's still an icon in Vancouver. Surprise, surprise. Great head of hair. I met him once in Vernon, BC when I was living there in the Italian kitchen restaurant, and he was there and went and shook his hand. This before camera phones, the whole bit, right? So shook his hand. Great head of hair on that man. Handsome fella. Like, he's not Jimmy Garoppolo for handsome. He's a good looking fella. You wonder where the Canucks are going to go with this. You wonder if this is the trade, the last one that Lamoriello is going to make in his deal and in his tenure with the Islanders, because things haven't gone as smooth as he's hoped on the island. He's got some great talent there, but they haven't been able to put things together and do any kind of damage in the playoffs. And they're in a dogfight to make the playoffs this year. Like I said, in that tough Eastern Division or Eastern Conference, it's going to be a tough go for the Islanders to get past the Pittsburgh, or stay ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins or behind the Pittsburgh Penguins and get into that playoff spot, because all those teams are so good out there, and it's a tough go for those teams. And the Canucks, they're just going to Canuck it forever. It's like Cleveland's going to Cleveland, the Canucks are going to Canuck, and there's nothing anybody can say or do that'll change my mind. That team is, until they can get maybe a new owner and get that thing straightened out. I mean, you can't fire the owner. Maybe you can try to get him to sell a team, but a lot, like I said on many of our shows before, these teams are just a toy for these rich guys, and they like to run their own way. Like, you look at Jerry Jones, and we talked about it before on the 1420 podcast, which we did last night, and there's a clip coming up. later on the show about what happened at the championship Sunday. But yeah, interesting to see what's going to happen. It's too bad for Canuck fans that their captain's gone. Best of luck to Bo Horvat. And you know what? Getting out of a place like that, a toxic environment, might help your career a lot. And then you go to the island, you can put 15, 20 more goals up on the board. That's a lot. There's only 20 games left, or 30 games left, I guess it is. You put up 15 more, 46 goal, man. That's going to get you a lot of money on a long-term deal. Something will set you and your family up for a long time to come. But that's my rant for the day. I'm entitled to it. But anyways, on this day in 1982, the 32nd NBA All-Star Game was played at the Brendan Byrne Arena, the former home of Lou Lamoriello, actually, in East Rutherford, New Jersey. East beat the West 120 to 118 in what would be a low-scoring NBA All-Star game. And you look at those games now, there's 130, 140 points per team going up on those NBA All-Star games. I actually don't mind watching that a little bit. Like, I'm not the biggest NBA guy. I'll watch those games here and there, but the All-Star game, those guys are talented. There's a lot of athleticism on those NBA guys. Got great big guys like that who can move. It's pretty impressive. And did anybody see, I'm going to run out of time here again, but anybody see that LeBron James get blocked? They were playing the Celtics the other night, and he got blocked, and it was a foul. There's no doubt it was a foul. But LeBron went down and he was throwing a temper tantrum, like he got shot from the book depository in Dallas. Like it was actually embarrassing that a grown man been in the league for 20 years would act like that. But anyways, it's just a odd situation with LeBron. He's an odd cat. And happy 75th birthday to the Ryan Express. Nolan Ryan turned 75 years old today. Hall of Fame pitcher, stops with the Mets, the Angels, the Astros, the Rangers. 7 career no-hitters, 5,714 strikeouts, 222 complete games. That stat is crazy. I was looking at his stat line yesterday, seasons of 22, 23, 20 complete games back early in his career. Unbelievable that he would be able to do that, and that guys are doing that now. The guys aren't doing that now, and how their arms are protected and everything else. And I know that guy was built differently, and his whole body frame, the frame was built differently, but it was unbelievable the amount of games he would put up. And the stat that gets me about Nolan Ryan is he only played in 8 All-Star games, right? So it's kind of a crazy situation there with Nolan Ryan and the like, because he's an all-time great, and you think for the amount of years that he played, he'd have a lot more All-Star game appearances. I know they don't mean anything in the big picture. Actually, they probably would have back then. They would have been a lot of bonuses in the contracts and stuff. But yeah, Nolan Ryan, happy birthday to him. Happy 75 years old. Man, you're watching those guys when you're younger. Now they're getting 75 years old. It says something about how old you are. Anyways, thank you for supporting the show. 14:20 in the morning is doing really good. The Belly Up Network of shows. Make sure you check out some shows on the rest of the network. And go to SeatGeek.com, get promo code 1420 pod today, and get some tickets. Save yourself $20. Anyways, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow, folks. Speaking of mics off, your friend Tony Romo almost threw out an N-bomb. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
Didn't. I hear that.
There was a situation, and I didn't hear.
He has to shut up. Tell me he did you listen to the broadcast?
On and off.
Just stop fucking yelling, Romo.
Yeah.
Just talk like
so he was getting excited, and like I can't remember what the exact play was, but this running back dodged 3 tackles, and he said something that I'm not even going to try to replicate, and he almost went into the N-bomb. I was that would have been the end of Tony Romo's career right there. And
I wish he would have dropped it.
I was like, oh yeah, because then I saw some people, they had it on the old Twitter machine that they were like, did Romo just do this? And it was a group of African-American fans watching it, and they were having a chuckle about it. Not that I'm laughing about that use of that word, but they were saying, did Romo just, and they rewound it, and they were like, yep, he almost did. It was funny. So I'll try to find it. Maybe I'll put it up on our Twitter account, or I'll send it to you, Dave, because that was almost the end of Tony Romo's career right there.
Well, that's I did a search as you were talking, and then I said search Romo N-bomb. It sounds like Tony Romo darn near dropped an N-bomb during Chiefs game. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to read it while we're talking, but I'm definitely going to catch up on that.
Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what he was going to say. There was no word in that situation. He could have used that started with an N.
Well, and I have the streaming services too, so I'm going to find and I'm going to listen to it after.
Yeah.